Welcome in, guys. I just wanted to give you a quick recap of what I am seeing for this week. Just to start, remember this week is going to be very, very volatile. We have elections on Tuesday that could send us in either directions. I think with the Republicans taking over, it could possibly give us a nice pump. However, that could be quickly foreshadowed on Wednesday with a CPI release. I'm expecting that to come in rather high. Haven't seen prices really go down. Um, I I think that's going to be the dagger that eventually sends us back down to test some new lows. As the ones that follow me, I play the Qs quite a bit. I played a little more than SPY. Just looking at the Q daily here, we did close Friday with a nice hammer. However, the weekly was not so great. Um, I do see for this week, I think we're gonna pump up a couple more days going into elections. I really think we're gonna go up here. We're going to fill this. We're gonna get close to this demand. I don't think we're gonna get quite there though for another reason I'm gonna show you guys in just a minute. However, if we do get to 275, I don't expect us to hold it very, very long. Um, because I'm gonna show you this. Coming to the 4 hour. 4 hours, I'm thinking we can go up to 270 or so this week, and then that's eventually going to send us back down, probably on Wednesday, which will be with the CPI release. The 4 hours looking like you got an FEG right here, so we should at least touch the middle of that. You got this volume profile that's probably going to help reject it, and then you have, let's get rid of this here. Then you have our point 0.5 fib line as well. That's probably going to act as some strong resistance. So I'm expecting us to go up and touch it because on Friday I tweeted out like our stochastics, our CCI were all very, very oversold, and people were still buying puts, and we were loading calls, and then we took calls from 259 or so all the way up to 264 to 265 right into the close. We actually held some calls overnight. And it looks like MNQ is actually going to be gapping up this morning. So that's my targets here. Also, if we take, let's see, let's go get MNQ back. We get MNQ back. You see on even on the 30, we have a lot of support below some FEGs that can keep sending us. However, we are foreshadowed right here by a good size supply zone. It takes us back to last Thursday. So we'll see what happens. If we can get through that, I mean, we could go up here and see around 1180 or so, but I don't think we're gonna get quite that far. Let's go look at the SPY on the daily. SPY on the daily. I'm not it's weird. The Qs have been selling off a lot more lately. I think with earnings and stuff, it's been the Qs have been dropping a lot more than SPY has. Again, almost the same thing with SPY. I think we can see 382 or so with a max being the top of this supply zone, especially with the zero point 0.5 fib there, and then this red candle from last Tuesday. So, and then eventually that's going to send us back down and give us our retest of the lows, if unless we can bounce from this demand zone. If not, we're going down. You guys also like to know this is what I use mainly for my targets. The SMA 20. Let's see here. SPY, as you see, is closed above it. Q is below it. So that tells us, tech's been selling off a lot more than SPY has. Like I said, with SPY, I do think we get a little more pump up. Like I said, to about the top of these candles here, about 382, 383, and then it's eventually going to send us back down under. For the Qs, pretty much the same thing. I think we're going to get a little pump up. This SMA 20 will come down about here. I think we're going to reject the SMA 20, and then that will send Qs back down. Also, that 270 be right in the middle of that 4-hour fair value gap that I showed you guys, and then we will go from there and see what happens. You guys also know, the ones that follow me, I love my 2 and 4-hour regression channels. This is another reason why on Friday we took calls, especially with the stochastics and the CCI both oversold. Um, and our regression channels were both at the very, very bottom right here. And it's most of the time, if when these come out or touch the very at the very bottom, we at least come back up to a test the middle. And if you look at this, we bounced, and then it gives, and like I said, right here is my target of 270 or so on the Qs for this week before we come back down and we'll test probably some new yearly lows. That's a 2 hour, 4 hour, same thing. I mean, here you go, 272 or so. I tend to follow the 2 hour just a little bit more on these, but the 4 hours is also a nice. It's a nice thing to look at. One thing I did forget to mention on the Qs, which, which is another reason why we bought calls on Friday. We have our stochastics starting to cross up here, as well as our CCI has started to curl up on the daily. So when we usually see those crossing up, look what happens. In the past, we at least get a nice little spike up and see what happens. For those who I don't have it for you guys, but if you guys follow the 2008 chart versus 2022 from the recession in 2008, we are right at the point where we get a little pump and then we have a huge drop off a cliff, and that catalyst could definitely be CPI on Tuesday, because that's not it's going to come out very hot still, and I don't think the market's going to react very well to that. Let's go take a look at DXY. DXY is still in this nice uptrend here. However, it comes into perfect with my targets. Another 2 or 3 days of candles coming down. Probably test the trend line, maybe this zero point 0.5 fib, and then uh, send us back up. However, we have a daily supply and a daily FEG up here that could keep us down. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. But I do expect us to come back down and test that 109 area again in the next day or two. You see our daily stochastics, daily CCI are still headed down. So we could have, like I said, a little more downtrend in the DXY. And last but not least, it hasn't been very reliable yet lately. VIX seems broken. However, it looks like we have 15 straight red candle days on the VIX, and it's pretty ugly. But I think it could bring us a little more downside, eventually hitting this demand, which would give us maybe another day or two. Just touches demand, send us back up to like that 27, 29 area, and then back down. So hope you guys benefit from it. It's my first video, just trying to get my feet wet. Do this on a daily or even a weekly basis to start out and see where we can head. I hope you guys have a great week. If you have any questions, DMs are open. Thank you guys for tuning in.